and I'm a registered Canadian immigration consultant. And today we're going to do this very important thing, which is you got the invitation to apply, you're putting together the documents, but what are things that can make or break your application? So we're going to go through all of them. Let's see what I can cover. My goal is to cover the basics. I might follow with a second video, but let's start. So, what we have to make sure is that there's some things that can really cause you a lot of trouble with your application, and that's what is called the incomplete application. As soon as the officer marks the incomplete application, it gets returned, you'll get your fees, but you lose that lottery ticket called permanent residence. What I see day to day public posts in my portfolio. When people book application reviews, I see some key mistakes that I want to point right away. One of them is having an evaluation for your degree, not for immigration purposes. Another one is when the knock of your job is not clear. And this one is the key one. It's regarding your foreign work experience. So let's dive a little bit deeper. So first of all, translation of documents. More and more, I see employers, even foreign employers, providing documents in English, which is good. But anything that is not in English or French, your police certificate, your work experience, make sure that you translate them and you include an original copy of the document. So that's very important. The medical examination is another one. Before, until August 21st, you could just submit your application with this. But now we have a new update, which means if you have completed a medical exam within the 5 years, you can upload that document. If you have not, then you need to do a new one before you submit. So very key here. Applications received after October 21st without a medical exam might be rejected. So let's go. Police certificate. It used to be a really tricky one. So I would say anyone who is either in a priority category or with a score of 525 and is trying to prepare their documentation, make sure that you are ready. Ask for the police certificate. And this is where I see a lot of confusion. Let's say you live in a country like India and you left in 2022, and then you went for a short visit in 2024 and you just stayed like 2 months and you haven't come back. If during that visit you got a police certificate, well, read the regulation. The police certificate must have been issued after the last time you stay in the country for 6 more months on a row. So, in my example, during the visit, if you got that police certificate, it meets the requirement. And it is for those countries that you have been living for more than 6 months in a row when you are 10 years. Make sure that you get the really one that you need. I know for Australia, for example, there is some complexities around it. And then this, where you don't include the police certificate and you don't provide supporting documentation, it will be rejected as incomplete. There is a link where if you put an official IRCC link where if you put the country for it tells you how to get that certificate. So here there is a link where to obtain a police certificate, go there. If you have been waiting for it for 50 days and it's time to submit, so there is the guidance here for exceptional circumstances, which it happens less and less, but still you have to show proof that you have requested a certificate, why is where there has been a delay, and make sure that you explain word by word, right? So the bio data or passport travel document. In passport, one thing that I see people are submitting their bio pages, but if you click in the little bubble when you're submitting your PR document, it says also all the pages where you have visas and stamps. So just remember that. And then my least favorite, where I spend a lot of time, is on the work experience. Please make sure that for every work experience that you are claiming, and there is a difference between personal history and work experience. So every work experience that you're claiming, you need a letter from your employer in the company letterhead that has contact information. Just this week, as I saw a lot of Mary Smith signed the letter, but there's no Mary Smith email or phone number to contact Mary. Your name, your title, your signature of the HR or your manager. And if you work at this place at various positions, all the positions, and for that's your title, duties, responsibilities, status, the date you work for the company, the number of hours, please. I see so many letters without the number of hours, your salary and benefits. If the work experience is in Canada, include T4 and notice of assessment. I see more and more people who, in the past, you uploaded a reference letter and that was fine, but now IRCC, as we know, officers have a lot of discretion. So if you have those pay stubs, if you have the T4 and it's clear, go for it. For foreign work experience, that's a different ballgame. These days, I'm submitting everything, the reference letter, the pay stub, the tax assessment, bank statement confirming pay stub, everything to ensure that the officer has zero doubt that the experience is legit. If you have no a lot of foreign experience, I tell people, remember, you need about 3 years out of 10. That is very, very solid. If you don't have the duties, you're in trouble. You definitely need to figure that one out. I I know, like, some companies back home, they don't provide duties, so more and more it's the likelihood of being rejected, unless, I don't know, some people try to provide like affidavits and public job postings and things like that, but it's a case by case basis, right? And remember, officers has discretion. So then we're going to go on document requirements. If you have dependent children, so make sure you put the birth certificate, passport copy, and we're going to move to proof of status. Please don't forget to submit your WES if you're, or whatever agency you do. I've the last 6 months I've seen nothing but WES. That it has been for immigration purposes. That's key. You already put your reference number when you were submitting your profile, and then you are going to get your equivalency. Make sure to remember that your education 50% or more was not online, so you get points for that. That sometimes people forget to check that. And then we're going to move to, if you have a provincial territorial certificate or qualification. I don't see that very often, so I'm going to move. Yeah, more and more, since IRCC took the 50 points for qualified arrange offers. Unless that's tied to a provincial nomination, it's becoming less and less relevant. Proof of funds. Remember, if you got invited on their Canadian experience class, usually there is still a place for you to upload proof of funds. You don't need it. What you need to put is clearly explained, and there is another link here. It's not here, that you got invited on the Canadian Experience Plus, therefore you don't need proof of funds. And then another one that I want to go, which a lot of my clients these days, they are common law, which is great. But remember to fill out this form. You can go to a notary public. A lot of IRCCs can do that already too. And the evidence has to be so solid here. If you actually have been living for 12 months, you probably have some utility bills. I haven't submitted a common law without a joint bank account, and the copies of the leases. And if we are married, I get the most liberal clients. I don't submit to many married couples, but get your marriage certificate. Yeah, same for divorce certificate if it applies, and then the certificate, hopefully that doesn't apply. So other documents that are important are if you have a relative. And I see more and more people just give the birth certificate, and in a lot of countries there's always like little misspellings of the last names or things like that. So get your brother, sister passport, and then get your birth certificate. And please remember that you have to prove that your relative is living in Canada. This is very important. Um, and then how do you do that? Documents must show the address of Canada and should be recent. Lease, mortgage, utility bills. I've seen in application reviews when I do them, um, I see that this is missing many times. And then the digital photos, which IRCC standards. You don't want to cost late to your application. You work so hard. Just make sure you open this and do what is added. And then, yeah, make sure that you just give them this. You need to, you at the end had a have a slot for client information. So make sure you, if anything that is not clearly explained, for example, I don't know, you remove an experience at the beginning, you thought you were going to claim that for CRS points, you got the invitation, the employer is being difficult, you don't need that experience anymore, your score doesn't decrease if you remove it. Mention, hey, I had this, now I don't, and this is why. So anyways, this is what I call the Bible of immigration after the ITA, and it's this video that I wanted to do for a very long time. And if you're doing the application, you receive your ITA, super helpful. That's it. So my name is Veronica Seper, and if you ever want to book some time with me, just go to my calendar page and book some time. And I'm so grateful that we will be spending some time together, and I helped you finalize this last chapter of, well, second last chapter, then is citizenship. So good night, everyone.